Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Bridge Builders of Diversity, where we are bridging the gap between the typical community and the special needs community. And today we thought we would focus on learning disabilities, especially ADHD or ADD.
ADD gets a lot of press. A lot of people, I've even heard a song that said, "Blame it on my ADD, baby." So many people struggle with executive function and attention, and in this world there are so many things competing for our attention, including YouTube, that we're so grateful for this platform, but sometimes it competes for our attention with our day-to-day lives. So let me get into the nitty-gritty. Because I'm a teacher, I always need to have an actual definition. So I looked up the DSM-5 definition of ADHD, and it is hyperactivity, impulsivity, inattention that interferes, and here's where the qualification comes in, that interferes with daily occupational functioning. So that's why we talk a lot about executive function. That's that part of your brain, and it's right in the front.
Frontal lobe.
Yeah, it's in your frontal lobe, and it controls your ability to complete tasks, organize tasks, and function occupationally. That means keep your house clean, keep yourself on time, keep yourself organized. So a lot of times people will say, my ADD. Sometimes it's just being distracted by the world, or you've got too much on your plate, or a lot of times for people my age, especially, we've got so many things packed in our heads. We have memories, we have activities, we have schedules, we have concerns for our family, our coworkers, our friends, that we can't prioritize, that it looks and feels like we have attention deficit.
Well, like for me, I've always liked to have 5 things going on at once. So I'll pull out the vacuum and tearing out the closets, and I like to jump around.
Jump around between activities, and somebody once commented on, that's how I clean my house. Is I'll start in one corner and I'll hit a wall and things won't be going right, or I'll need something that's across the house, and I'll go start a task before that one is finished. That's not really ADD.
No.
That's just you got too much in your mind. You're thinking about too many things at once. What ADD is people who are chronically late, can't remember, walk across the room and forget things, can't focus, or can't stop focusing. A lot of people that I'm seeing on different social media platforms talking about ADD talk about their hyper focus, and that's one of the
that's a gift.
It is a gift, right? So we're going to get to the upside of ADD in a minute, but this hyper focus, this single-mindedness, that's one of the things that we look for in children in the educational setting, is that in the inability to pay attention to things around them that aren't part of their interest level, and then the inability to stop paying attention or to stop thinking about things that are very high interest for them. Like a lot of times we were just talking about Legos, and a lot of times kids with ADD love Legos. They will sit for hours and
same with video games.
Construct. And there's something about video games, I've been really paying attention to the research on this lately, that people with ADD are very, very affected by screen time and video games, that it really interferes with their ability to organize themselves. So if you have someone that you love in your life that spends a lot of time on video games, that does have executive function difficulties, try to help them wean off of it and find another hyperfixation, because it's not hard. When you're ADD, it's not hard to find another hyperfixation. Sometimes it might be crafting, or it might be reading, or it might be writing, or building. I know a lot of my peers with ADD love the needle arts. because they just get lost in it. So one of the other things that we wanted to talk about was the impacts of ADD.
And before she does that, if you like our content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.
So yeah, so there I was hyper focused because these are my special interests. So the impacts of ADD can be many. I know a lot of adults with ADD that have trouble. They have really negative self-images because they have a lot of trouble with on-time and on-task behavior. They miss details, or they hyper-focus on minutia that interferes with their ability to accomplish tasks.
So it wouldn't be unreasonable if somebody had severe ADHD that they were late for work all the time.
Right. And that's a problem. Or unable to learn tedious tasks, like forgetting details of something that in their echelon, their executive functioning doesn't really matter to them. So, but to your boss and to completing your job, they need you to focus on those details. So a lot of people that with ADD, especially kids, will do well with a list and a checklist. That is if they don't lose it.
Or don't ever take it out of their pocket, because I'm famous for, I'll write a list for the market, I stick it in my pocket, but I never look at it.
Same.
And I just walk aimlessly around the store looking for what I need.
That pained me because I do the same thing. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, or here's my favorite. So I just recently went to the store and forgot to buy something critical because I had an idea. Traversed the entire store, and why do they make grocery stores so big?
Well, most of the stuff in the middle you don't need anyway because it's bad for you. So
right. And I forgot
shop the outer part, right? That's what they say.
Well, that's exactly what happened. I needed something in the other corner, and then forgot the critically important thing that I needed in the middle. So now, guess what I have to do?
Go back to the store.
Because my dog is eating cat food.
Oh, that's not good for him.
No.
See, I'm lucky. I live like 3/4 of a mile from the store, so I can zoom back there and zoom back within 15 minutes.
Well, another impact of ADD, again, especially for adults, is being overwhelmed and overstimulated and needing to retreat because
so the woods I go
into the yes. I love
find your happy place.
I love it. That was exactly where I was going with this. It's really, really easy when you have attention deficit to get overwhelmed because you don't have that executive function, I'm going to point to my frontal lobe again, that ability to filter what's important and what isn't. So you find yourself thinking about everything, and that's what happens to me in the grocery store. Now, I don't have an official diagnosis. I always joke that I contracted ADHD from my students because I'm a special education teacher, and for the last 17 years I taught very young children. So talk about inability to focus.
That just comes naturally with little ones.
Right. And
because their frontal lobe's not developed yet.
That's why. So 3 to 5 year olds, their frontal lobe isn't developed, and sometimes they actually do have ADHD, and it often is diagnosed in early childhood. So one of the things that we do is for these young people, we ultra structure their days for them. We remove,
that sounds exhausting.
A lot of it is. We remove a lot of the stimuli and only introduce it as it's pertinent to learning.
My poor kids had nothing structured. But I think that's made them more flexible.
I think so too, because that's where I was going with this, is then you get to adulthood and you don't have anyone structuring your life for you. No. You don't have anyone checking your checklist for you. You're the one in charge of your executive function, and you haven't developed that skill. So in talking about education, one of the temptations for teachers is to ultra structure. That works great for little ones. because then you can teach them and gradually fade back that structure. But if you're talking like middle school age, 12 to 18, or middle school, high school age, 12 to 18, they really need to start taking some of that control for their executive function. And one of the things that I see others do, because I don't teach that age group anymore, or yet, or still, I don't know what's happening, is, fading back that control and teaching them to organize themselves, making them responsible for their list, making them responsible for finding ways that work for them to keep themselves on time, on task, and present in the moment. So now we get to the good part, the juicy part, the benefits of being ADHD.
Which is a superpower, especially hyperfocus.
There is a theory out there, and it's kind of in the woo-verse. So there's not a lot of...
FYI, most people with learning disabilities have made the biggest discoveries for mankind.
Right. Because you think creatively. Like what's out there in the woo-verse, that theory, is that attention deficit
Edison.
is really a manifestation of the evolution of the human brain.
Yes.
Isn't that a great philosophy or a way of looking and approaching people with attention deficit, instead of constantly pointing a finger at them and saying, you need to change, you need to get better, you need to do more, and beating down their self-image?
And
lift them up and point out their magnificent way of thinking and their creativity, because I have a strong feeling.
Wasn't it Edison's mother that the teacher kicked him out of school because
I thought that was that Einstein or Edison? One of those
Edison.
two great thinkers.
Edison. And
right.
the mother lied to her son and didn't read the proper letter. She said, "Oh, you're too smart.
You're too smart for this school."
Yeah, it was Edison.
Which is often ADHD comes with very high intelligence. So these great minds need to be fortified and lifted up. So if you're somebody with ADHD out there, stop with the negative self-talk. Stop beating yourself up for being late and losing things. And focus on the things that make you wonderful.
And remember, you can always hire people to help you the areas that you're weak in, like time management. Hire a secretary to keep you focused and go into your meetings or whatever, And a lot of people with learning disabilities end up owning their own businesses because they don't fit in the mainstream world.
It's hard. The mainstream world can be really, really hard, and there's a lot of pressure on you, and that you can really get sucked into that negative self-talk and not thinking well of yourself. But I'm here to tell you, and Sherry's here right behind me telling you, so listen carefully, you are talented, you are valuable, and you can do this. Find a buddy. Someone, I'm pointing to Sherry because she keeps me going and focused. When I get off in one of my tangents, like I said, I'm not diagnosed. I just have a lot going on in this noodle. When I get unfocused, she's like, "Hey, let's go back to that," or "Let's remember what we're doing here." I do the same thing for her, less often.
I had my own learning disabilities, but
but that just goes back to the whole principles behind Bridge Builders of Diversity, is that we all have something to bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Every one of us is valuable, and we need to, as a group, as a human condition, reach out to each other and acknowledge what makes us special.
Absolutely.
If we take the time to stop and really listen to somebody who's a little bit different,
we all have value.
We'll find the value in them. So that coworker that's always late or misses the little details,
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. And maybe you can be the person that helps them find a strategy. And if you're the person that's always late and missing those little details, reach out and ask for help.
Absolutely.
Find somebody and say, "Hey,
to be your coach,
I need somebody to help me find a way to not forget to lock my front door, or to not stop losing my car keys, or stop being late for work. I know we use that as an example a lot, but it's pretty much, that's a universal with people that I know with ADHD, especially if they have a revolving schedules. That is really tricky for someone with ADHD because humans are pattern seekers. We like to find patterns and things. So if the pattern isn't constant, it's going to be tricky for you to maintain a schedule. So back to it. You matter.
Absolutely.
You have something to offer no matter what everybody's telling you. And quit with that negative self-talk. Okay, I'm talking to myself now. Quit with that negative self-talk.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, please.
Please. We really want to continue to tell you how wonderful you are. Yes, please, please, please. Please. We love you. You matter. Everybody has something to offer. Until then.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.